Hello everyone, I'm making this video because it seems that once again video games are the scapegoat for some problem somewhere. And it just grinds my gears how politicians or certain parent groups try to blame video games for all their problems, when it's really something that, is a non-issue that they can easily resolve themselves. They worry so much about kids playing violent video games. Never mind the fact that they're the ones that are in control. The parents. They're the ones in control. But, they keep treating video games as some kid-only thing, even though that's not really the case. I mean, your average gamer these days is about 30 to 40. They've been playing since the Atari days, the NES days. Yeah, many of them are adults. I mean, the systems like the PlayStation 5 and the Xboxes are basically entertainment centers. That's why they include things like Blu-rays and DVD, Blu-rays and streaming services and whatnot. They are no longer a kid thing or a kid-only thing. But these parent groups, they still complain, and never mind the fact that there are certain things that just they try to cry out saying, oh, we need to ban the sales of violent video games to kids and minors and all that, even though that's already a thing. Now, let me explain. For starters, video games are very expensive. I mean, your average game is like $50, $60, and for a kid, that's a lot of money. I mean, when you don't have a job, or say sort of a steady sort of income, it's like your kid with an allowance might make like $10 a week, if that. It takes a while to save that kind of money. And that's assuming they don't spend it on things like food or toys or other things that a kid might buy. If you have a girl, they might buy cheap jewelry at mall stores like Claire's or makeup or something. I know this because I had a sister that age. It's like when my sister was younger, I used to take her to stores like that and do that sort of thing. So your average kid simply doesn't have that kind of money. And the other thing is kids generally don't have credit cards or access to something like that the way an adult would. So a lot of times it's an adult buying the game. So right off the bat, there's that. Now the second thing is, let's say that they do have the money because maybe they got a bunch of money for a birthday or something. Because most video games, because of their prices, they could be justified as Christmas, holiday, birthday presents. Well, let's say so they got the money and they want to go buy this game. They can't. Here's the thing: in the mid '90s, when violent video games like Mortal Kombat were a thing, they came out. It's with the ESRB, to basically inform parents and everybody else about which games. And they had the rating system similar to the movie ratings. You might be familiar with that one: G, PG, PG-13, R, and whatnot. Now, most kids can go to see by themselves a G movie, PG, PG-13, no real issue. But if you want to see an R-rated movie, you need an adult. You have to have an adult with you. And with the video games, it's very similar. You have E, E10, there's also EC, early childhood, T, and M for mature. And here's the thing: a kid cannot buy a game that's rated M for mature. Now, when it comes to games, they have the rating system. They have it clearly labeled on the front. You can see this one here. Mortal Kombat 11, rated M for mature. It says right there, mature, 17+. You go around the back here, it tells you. You got the M, it says blood and gore, intense violence, strong language. You know exactly what's in this game. And here's the thing, if any kid goes to a store like GameStop or Walmart, Target, Best Buy, whatever, they can't buy this game. If they try to check out, they're going to ask for ID. So even if they had the money, they can't buy the game. They need an adult to buy it. This is where you, the parent, come in. Or maybe an uncle or whatever. So, the odds of them getting a game like this is extremely unlikely. But, some of you might say, oh, what about self-checkout? Even if you try to get an R-rated movie or an M-rated game at self-checkout, first of all, they need to generally open it, or they have to get it out of a case. And the person there will look at you and see, it's oh, you're not of age, I can't sell you this game. So again, not really an issue. The odds of, them getting their hands on a game like this, slim to none. But then there's the third point, which I think is the most important and the most easily forgotten one of all, is that since the 7th generation, with the Wii, PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, as well as ever since those systems came out, they've all had built-in parental locks. So let's say that maybe an uncle buys this game for them, or they got it at a flea market or at a yard sale where they don't, well, not really a flea market, but more like a yard sale where they don't care about the ESRB. Or maybe, a friend brought it over, or, like they borrowed it from somebody, which was a very popular thing to do. You can program the system itself not to allow M-rated games or T-rated games to play. If you're that concerned, it's like, you could do that. Just set in a password, you adjust the level that you want in the game, and yeah, even if they do get their hands on the game, they can't play it. You can block the system from playing the game. And there you go. You don't have to, worry about it, because even if they get their hands on it, they can't play. And now you're thinking, oh, but my kid will hack it, or they'll figure out the password. I'm like, you can't figure out a good password in, over, 15, 20 years of experience or something? It's like, here's the thing. It's like, okay, don't use, your birthday, or your spouse's birthday, or your anniversary, or something like that they could ask a relative. Put in, say, the birthday of, an old crush from, middle school or high school, or a celebrity crush, your fifth one down the list that you barely ever talk about. Something like that most people wouldn't be able to easily figure out. So they can't go ask grandma or something, hey, what's dad's birthday, or what's the anniversary? They wouldn't know it's the birthday of whoever was in high school. The chances are they probably don't even remember. So think outside the box, and you can do something like that. So to recap, it's they can't buy, they don't have the money to buy the game. If they did, they can't buy it. And if you do your part, you can program it so it won't even play. So why do you need the government to step in to do this for you? If your kids are playing violent video games, the only one you have to blame is yourself. Because you're the one buying the game or allowing them. It's some of them want it so that they won't even sell the games at stores. You have no right to do that. It's simply don't buy it. At the end of the day, this is complaining to adult magazine companies that it's oh, my kid, it's found the magazine, it's under the bed. It's here's the thing, they can't buy those either. So it's if they found your magazine under your bed, that's because you brought it in. So we don't need the government to step in to do anything of that. And if you find any parent group or any politician scapegoating the video games for something, or trying to fearmonger people, realize that this is just an old bait and switch. They're just trying to distract you from another issue. Much like Family Guy. But what about the terrorist? That's right, the terrorist. That's what you got to focus on. Ignore that over there. Nothing's happening over there. Ignore the man behind the screen. This is your problem. No, it's not. Okay? Stop trying to distract. It's the people from the issue. It's just think clearly, and it's don't let them. Get it into your head. It's what, this false issue, because that's what these are. This is just a scapegoat and some fear mongering technique. You don't want your kids playing violent video games? Simply go out and tell them about the ESRB. Learn about it. They usually have stuff in stores that tells you all about it. And, pay attention to what your kids want. I remember years ago, this must have been around 2005, 2006, there was this one awesome game that came out in 2003. It was called Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time. Very great game. They're remastering it right now, making a nice remake for PlayStation 4 and Xbox. This game was rated T for Teen. Now, they made a sequel for it called Warrior Within, and it was rated N. It was a lot darker. It was a lot bloodier. And in this game, it improved the whole fighting system. It was an early freeform fighting system, the kind that you would see in games like Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man on PlayStation 4, or the Batman Arkham series. This was one of the early pioneers of that. But the game was more violent, and it got an M rating. And I remember I was at a GameStop, and some kid wanted the game because he played the first one, but his mother refused to buy because it was rated M. Good mom. And that's the thing. I'm sure he probably ended up buying it later. It's like when he was of age, or he probably got the remastered version that they released on the PlayStation 3 that had a trilogy set with the third game as well. But that's the thing, you know, you wait, and that's what you do. You pay attention to what your kids buy. So just do the right parental thing, make the right decisions, pay attention to what your kids buy, and don't blame other people like the companies for making the game if you don't want your kid to buy. Again, I urge you to, if you're really worried about this, simply put in the parental locks on the system, you know, when they're at school or something. Turn on the system, enter the parental locks, and there you go. That's one thing already, you don't have to worry about it. They can't play the game, you know, that's you're one step ahead. So, I just want more people to know about these parental locks, and just to have more responsibility, you know. I just hate it's like, you know, people making video games or anything else a scapegoat. They did it for the comic books, they did it for the movies, they did it for the music, they did it for the video games in the 90s. Let's not repeat things. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you found it informative, please share it so that other people may know to follow the ESRB ratings, pay attention, and use parental locks if need be. So thank you for watching, and till next time.